Hey, did you know Long's Products is a family-owned janitorial supply with mops, brooms, trash bags, and they even have food service disposables, carry-out plates, and to-goes? Check us out.
Good evening, everyone. And if you guys could do us a favor, while we're waiting for some folk to come in, but I think folk are already coming in. Just make sure whatever you do, you hit that share button tonight, because we definitely need this conversation to hit as many people as we possibly can. I want to definitely welcome you guys to a special Sunday night, late Sunday night edition of the Let's Talk Show. I'm your host, Jack, and tonight we aren't just here to talk. We're here to seek the truth, demand accountability. Before we before we jump into everything, I want to make a couple of comments. Um, let's talk about the world we're living in right now. We often think about civic engagement as something that's happening in Washington, D.C., in Baton Rouge. But the most important civic engagement happens right in our back door. It happens on our streets. Civic engagement isn't just voting once every 4 years. It's the courage to stand up when a neighbor is taken, to ask the hard questions of our local police, city officials, and to refuse to be silent when the system moves too damn slow. If I offended somebody tonight, I apologize. It's Sunday night and I'm late and I'm tired. Our communities are only as strong as our willingness to fight for one another. We need your help to get this message out tonight. Please, again, hit that share button right now. And not just hit that share button, but hit the engage, comment, and do whatever. But we need to help get this word out. The more you engage, the louder our voices become. And tonight, we need Winnfield, Central Louisiana, to hear us loud and clear as we move forward. Remember the words that Shirley Chisholm said: "You don't make progress by standing on the sidelines whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas." Tonight, we're implementing the ideas of justice. With all of that fussing said, I want to welcome Khristopher, Alisha, and Devarious here to Let's Talk. And again, Rogers family, you guys have our deepest condolences from our Urban Cast family as well. That said, how are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing fine, man. As good as it's gonna get as far as
Hmm.
the circumstances.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and jump directly on into the questions that we have. The community knows 2Reddie, but to you, he was a brother and he was a best friend, Alisha. For those who didn't know him personally, what should they know about the kind of man Roger was? Not me. Here's what I can tell you. You know, from a social media standpoint, and and being paying attention to when things happen, I can tell you I saw an overwhelming support to Reddit, an overwhelming support from family, friends, strangers, people just saying, positive things. So tell us in your words tell us who he was.
He was, excuse me.
You take your time.
He was a kind-hearted, sweet, loving young man. He was raised in church. He actually started rapping in church. And as time went by, he started doing poetry. And then he started doing rapping. But I remember my brother, when my mama used to work one or two jobs, he used to do our hair, paint our nails. And when we didn't really have too much of food to eat, I remember him opening up a can of pork beans and chopping up some wieners for us to eat on. He was my best friend, my security blanket. Mm.
I'm gonna take over.
Mm-hmm.
When I say he was a great man, it wasn't nothing you could ask for, nothing you could do to ever make him mad. He was just a sweet, humble dude. I can't even recall when he ever got into it with anybody. And you know what I'm saying? He just was a kid. Like when you have something and you grow up in a household, you want everybody around you to have also. And man, got a hold to him. I did like 12 years myself. And when I got home, he was the last part to my other brother that had passed. So we grew a real, real tight bond. And before they knew 2Reddie, you know what I'm saying, he was Red Man. And then he was Roger. So as I got a chance, man, I had 20 years, bro. It was a blessing to be home, to be here with him. In February, I'll be home 7 years. I had a 20-year sentence. So to be able to be here with him, spending time with him, and him bring me back on what everything I missed over the 12 years with my family was my heart. So to make a long story short, cause man, it's really emotional and touching. We we got we got to the end, and right before his mom got sick, it was like, bro, I got to get myself together. And I talked to him, and I was like a spiritual mentor because that's all I do. I go into prisons. I help anybody in the community, and that what we was focused on. He was finna go back to gospel rap, so he had fully committed to God. He was praying on Bible study. Even when he couldn't connect, I was the one connecting him because I wanted to make sure he tapped in with God every Sunday and Wednesday when I did. So after that, man, he was all over the church with me. It was three of us. And when I say the man had his stuff together and was really, really trying to get to heaven, it wasn't nothing he wouldn't do for nobody. It wasn't nothing he wouldn't give to nobody. Even if somebody would have came and just asked him, he'd have gave it to him. That's the kind of man he was. He was a father that did everything except discipline his kids because the kids can do no wrong to him. I mean, and that's just a soft spot on all of us. You know what I'm saying? When you losing so many people, and he had just lost his mom. You know what I'm saying? That's all he was preparing for was, man, after Christmas, my mama's birthday that Saturday.
Mm.
I had talked to him that Monday, and it was like he was telling me he was all right, but he was scared. It was like he knew something was gonna happen to him. So in the midst of that, talking to him and stuff, he said, "Man, if I die tomorrow, my policy is gonna be straight for my kids." And I'm like, "What you mean?" He said, "I know my kids straight." And I called him that night, and I stayed up worried about it. Come to find out his sister had hit him about 156. When you got a bond with somebody like that, you're gonna feel in your heart for that person. And we got that call, bro, and there's nothing really being said. We don't know the development on the case. It's just the whole community in fear. Everybody on the edge. I can't speak for the law or the community on the aspect of my family. This ain't, you know what I'm saying, this ain't a show. This ain't for no popularity, bro. We really lost a humble soul in the community, bro. I'm speaking for everybody, as they would say, the old generation, the young generation, the OGs, everybody that's been around. I'm speaking for all of them. Bro, this should have never happened. And then it happened in the back door of your own community and nobody don't know nothing.
Roger's life was taken 2 days before Christmas. Can you describe the impact his absence has had? I heard you talking just a few minutes ago. And if we need to pass this question, just tell me pass it.
No, because I want you to see that Alisha right here. But I'ma talk on it.
All right.
I was trying to be here for more some sport, but I'm, really going and getting emotional myself. But that Tuesday was his girlfriend, fiance, daughter birthday. That Wednesday, which was Christmas Eve, was his sister's birthday.
Wow.
And Saturday was his mom's birthday.
Wow.
So me knowing all this, and when this happened, it'll never be a Christmas that we can celebrate ever again, bro. They took something from us that was dear to our heart, man. That hurt. The community trying to come together. We got memorials and stuff being put up, but it's like God say, a thief in the night, bro. So we don't know nothing.
So tell us a little bit about that name 2Reddie. Where it came from? What's the story behind 2Reddie?
You remember the story?
what's the name behind it, man?
I'm gonna let Chris get a little bit of it because, like I say, when I went in, you know what I'm saying, he was Red Man, Roger.
He was Red Man.
Yeah, because I'm an OG. I'm almost 50. So, you know what I'm saying, I was like they big homie, you know what I'm saying, but when I left, he was a little dude.
Uh-huh.
And when I came home, I seen it on YouTube in the pen. I said, man, that ain't no 2Reddie, that's Red Man. So that's all I knew was Red, Chris, tell him about 2Reddie. What them twos stand for.
Man, I really can't speak as far as the aspect of how he came up with that name because I remember when he was Mr. Through the Meter. It was a lot going on. But I mean, 2Reddie was just a good dude, man. Roger, it was always Roger Redman to us. So when he started rapping, it kind of, threw me for a loop. But I was like, we was with it, we supported it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's nothing like your own. Seeing that right there, you know what I'm saying? I remember that group, they were the Young and Paid clique, and I want to give them a shout out to Deterion and those guys right there, man, you know what I'm saying? They would be able to elaborate more on so as to say, hey, how did he come up with that name or something like that? Because I mean, honestly, I don't want to give out the false information of saying, well, this is how he developed that name, and I don't know the exact standing behind the name.
Because I ain't gonna even lie. He was Brother Roger to me.
Yeah.
Real talk. You know what I'm saying? So like I say, I wasn't there for the 2Reddie era. I was there for the original when he was a baby era. I've been knowing it since, you know what I'm saying,
Man, huh?
knee high to the grasshopper.
That was Red Man to, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I hear you.
But man, he touched everybody's heart, bro. I ain't. You can see it on Facebook, bro.
No, no.
I'm glad I can be able to kind of take a deep breath and kind of really enjoy talking about my brother because this gonna be heard over everywhere. And
Yeah.
when I say he was a good-hearted, kind soul, man, that wouldn't even hurt a flea. He'll let the flea suck the blood out of him before, you know what I'm saying? He do anything.
You're a good man because I get rid of that bad blasted flea. I ain't gonna tell you that.
But he just was a humble soul, bro.
Yeah, 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 man.
I mean, you know how when life going and people do things and you hear something about somebody, you be like, dang, God bless them. But they was living that way, live by the sword, die by the sword.
Right.
This was a godly man, bro. Kid, a church member, bro.
Yeah.
And his sister came and joined church today with me. She didn't even know she sat in his exact spot.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So, that was his main goal, bro. He was trying to get all his kids and family in church.
Okay. Well, sounds like he's still talking right now. You know what I mean?
Uh,
Strange kind of way. Chris, the police have called this an isolated incident, but the investigation is still active nearly a month later. And from the family's perspective, what are the biggest unanswered questions right
Uh, why haven't any arrests been made?
Chris,
Why
man.
isn't there any transparency with the case? Why haven't any public statements been made directly from the police? Just things like that, things that go on with the case in general that you would normally hear is being updated. Monday after Monday after Monday has passed, and we hear every weekend, we're going to do this Monday, or we're going to go do this next Monday. Mondays have passed, and we still have no answers. And I mean, just to be honest, the case it could really be an open and closed case. It's things that circulating around the community that shouldn't even be in the hands of the community, but we all have it, unfortunately. And that goes to show right there that if we are able to get these things, then we know that you guys have access. And if you don't have access to those things, then you need to pass it on to someone who's capable to get the access to those things.
now? That's a deep thought right there that you just said. Give it to somebody who's capable of actually doing it if you can't do it yourself. The issue that you described there, Chris, is an issue, and I'm not going to say it's within all law enforcement here in Central Louisiana, but there are some jurisdictions that display this behavior that you are describing here, and they do it more so than other ones around. And it makes you wonder sometimes, did they go to the same law enforcement training, or if politics are involved in it and just shutting things up or whatever. But the one thing that I see, when I've been following this case all along, you know, from initially when folk reached out to us, and and, you know, and I'm aware of the lack of communication that's actually happening. But I think, I don't think it. I know your family and friends are doing the right thing by demanding transparency, because just uh, my colleagues and I were just talking about a situation that happened in New Orleans this past weekend, and it had to do with somebody being shot, and they were followed into a restaurant, and police and political leaders got in front of it and explained it, and they're explaining it all the way through. I don't know what it is here in Central Louisiana about some, and I want to be perfectly clear. Some local enforcement, law enforcement officers, where they think they don't have to answer to the people who actually hired them, and But the interesting thing about it is, in my opinion, from a civic engagement standpoint, this is the reason why people, a lot of times we be saying, voting don't matter. It does matter. And here is a perfect example of when it matters. And so the next time these people who feel that they don't have the answer to the community tell you and show you that they ain't going, and I know I just chopped that up, but they show you that they're not going to do it. It's time when the next election cycle come up to tell them that their damn services are no longer needed. And you do that by going to the vote. I know that don't answer what you guys have in your plan, but we got to be thinking. We got to be thinking now, strategic and long term. And so when it's good that you guys are saying this. So just let them know right now. You don't have to get out there and act an ass or nothing like that. You just got to get out there and say, you know what, October coming, and your services, we're gonna let your ass know the services are no longer needed. Point blank and simple. Let me move on because y'all got me. I told you y'all got me
Yeah.
this. I normally
Hey
don't.
man, we understand. We understand.
Yeah,
I mean,
bro.
it's very frustrating,
Yeah.
especially from a standpoint of transparency. And one of the things in our community that we often see is when it comes to certain individuals or certain skin tones or races that they move fast, they move swift, they do everything, they exhaust all resources to make sure everything is handled. But when it comes to our community, it's like, okay, well, they'll just deal with it. And it's a spirit of fear. I call it the invisible fear that hovers over our community.
Mhm,
And it's time out for that.
mhm.
It's time that we see that it's a new day and that it's no longer that we will no longer be in fear, that we are no longer afraid of the consequences and the repercussions, because it shouldn't be any repercussions of justice and doing what's right for our community, especially if we elected you
Right.
to do a job.
And even if you were hired as a public official and you were hired to do a job, we expect that you're gonna do it. So the bottom line to the question, my next question was, do you feel communication from the Winfield Police Department has been sufficient? I think I don't think I think that's a real cut and dry.
It hasn't. It hasn't been. It hasn't been sufficient. Like I said, it should have been a press release. We should be updated, whether we want to admit it or not. There are a killer. There's a killer or killers on the loose. This man was executed. He wasn't just killed. He was executed. They left him outside for hours on end, like a dog. They didn't even have, and being the fact that of the small town that we lived in, even if you killed him, you could have used a burner phone to call the police and 911. This guy didn't have a bad bone in his body. We loved him, even if he didn't deal with you, he still would give to you. That's how much he loved his community. He had a song that said, I love
I
my
love my
Winfield.
Winnfield.
Yeah.
He made a song that said, I have too much to live for. Every child that was in the
Too
video,
honest.
he took care of. He paid for the whole community. He gave
And
back to the community.
and he threw me and my wife anniversary party at the car wash when he did it. The two honest came in November 17th, 2024, which was Worm's birthday. Our brother that we was connected to, which he do 2Reddie Tuesday and he do Worm and Wednesday. So we was connected by bond, loyalty, heart, and God. This like my mama birthed him. When he joined church, he called my mama Pastor Mama. That's another story about the church, but hey man, community outreach don't play, bro. I'm
Yeah.
serious. When my mama preach, bro, she gonna touch your heart and she gonna tell you the truth. And that's come from my grandmother from that spiritual bringing. And we all family. His cousin married my uncle. So I mean, we still family.
Yeah.
I've been knowing the community so small. Back in the day, if one child did something bad, you whoop him, and then when he get home, he get another whooping. That's how small we is. So this shouldn't have never happened, bro.
Yeah.
And this got the whole community in fear. I don't know what the police doing, but I'm talking about the fear of the community. It's, nobody want to hang out. Nobody don't know what's gonna pop off. You don't know who around. I mean, you got people right up under you, snaking you, thinking about robbing you, killing you. You don't know. So the best thing to do is stay away. Now, when you staying in the house, which he was, somebody come to your door. So I mean, it's like nobody's off limit down here. You feel me?
Mm,
Anybody could be next the same kind of way. So it's everybody living in fear behind this.
yeah.
If they'll do somebody like him that, they'll definitely do somebody like me, you, or anybody else, bro. That's like taking an old lady out. You know what I'm saying? The respect of the mother of the neighborhood, he was like the brother of the neighborhood. That's just who he was, bro.
Chris, another question. As an advocate, uh, what are the legal systemic hurdles the family is currently facing? In the pursuit right now, in your opinion, from an
Uh,
advocacy standpoint.
um, like Alicia told me earlier, she feel like she doesn't have a voice in the situation. As a victim to this situation, she should know what's going on with her brother's case at all times. It shouldn't be a he say, she say, I heard this, but don't tell nobody else type of situation that's going on in the community right now. But they again, it goes to tell you, small town justice. So we face those things of basically transparency. Honestly, I feel like it's a prejudice to the case, and just to be quite frank, the case really should be passed on, and it shouldn't be in the city police hands. Honestly, that's not to discredit them, but that's just to say do what's right and pass it over to the proper authorities where they can come in and investigate this properly. The crime scene wasn't secure. It's just a lot that went on with this situation that wasn't right.
So when you say prejudice, you don't necessarily mean racial prejudice.
No.
Okay. So you want to make that distinction perfectly clear. This is not a
Yes,
racial,
sir. This is
right?
not a racial. This is not a racial thing. I'm just saying we know that it's suspected people that may be involved with the situation, and therefore things shouldn't be handled in that manner by that agency.
And so in essence, then you guys are at this point. You think that a person's judgment and what they're saying is compromised, and they should have
Yes,
just
sir.
bottom line recuse themselves from the situation because of the people who are involved or suspected to be involved in this particular situation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Uh, there are often rumors that circulate in small towns. Uh, what is the one thing you want to clear up tonight for the people of Winfield regarding actually what happened in DC?
One of the things that I want to say is the no snitching policy.
Oh, okay.
Snitching does not have anything to do that's off the table when it comes to lives being involved. When it comes to murder and things like that, there's no such thing as no snitching. Well, when you talk about snitching, you talking about something that when you're trying to get a lesser time and lesser sentence, that's what we should be looking at. We shouldn't be looking at it from a standpoint of somebody who did so much for this community. That should be off the table at all. And that's one of the things that we have to get away from. The snitching thing, we have to get away from that. I mean, we can't pick and choose what snitches we're going to protect because we do that. So when it comes to this, it should be with a even greater what I like to say, it should be have a greater urgency to tell or at least submit an anonymous tip of what you think is going on. But again, the community feels like, hey, we all know what's going on. The police should know what's going on. And that's what comes into play.
Well,
So you can mhm.
no. Go ahead. I apologize.
So you can hide behind the curtain of, well, no one's coming forward, no one wants to cooperate with us. But you have the same tools and the same things that resources that we have, but you should have even more because you're a law enforcement agency.
Well, it's like they tell you, you got to lead by example. I mean, we tell our kids that all the time, and so part of that leading by example is if you want us to talk to you, hell, you got to talk to us too. That's it's a two-way street there, and so you can't have your cake and eat it too. You want folk to come and talk to you, but heck, y'all sitting over here wondering what the hell going on.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it takes leadership to change their behavior to begin getting a different outcome, with the followers. You know what I mean? And clearly, you guys have said earlier that you're not getting to, no communication is coming to the family. You're in the dark, so that right there, you're not creating that wholesome, uh, inviting spirit that somebody want to come talk to you because you're already holding back. And what that puts in the mind is it put that fright in mind. If I do go tell, he might not like me. He might go tell somebody I told him that.
Hmm.
And so from that standpoint, the person is, they conflicted, because they don't know who they can trust.
And that's what I was saying about the whole situation. I mean, don't nobody want to talk to the police. Don't nobody want to talk to even each other because everybody's living in fear.
Hmm.
It may not be the police not doing their business. It might not even be they might not be getting no tips. But the community is such a fear that ain't nobody saying that. And I'm talking about the police shook, the people shook, the whole town is shook. I'm serious. It's like everybody to like put themselves in a bubble. If you don't pop that bubble, you know what I'm saying, nobody's gonna say nothing. And that's why from now on, if you look at my post, I said I'm gonna let God handle it because God will give the best revenge.
Right.
Because if we put our trust in man, then we'll never get the answer. So I took it to the higher power and just dropped it off because, bro, I've been running so much for the last 3 weeks. My body just completely shut down. Because that's all I knew. I was my brother's keeper.
Mhm.
I called him day in, day out, checked on him. I got my own business, you know what I'm saying? So I do pressure washing, so I always check on them because I always be in the woods or,
Uh-huh.
doing other stuff. So, bro, it wasn't no doubt in my mind, you know what I'm saying? I could have ever thought this was gonna happen. I've been home coming up, gonna be 7 years of February, bro.
Right.
I done
Right.
took death after death after death. This year, right? This like my grandmother death anniversary coming up on the 27th, and I'm still grieving over this because it's not solved. So on top of that, there's been another burden, and every day that go by, people getting angry, stuff, and other people like going on, and it's like it's gonna be a train wreck somewhere.
Right.
So everybody is just on the edge down here, bro. It's scary, real talk.
Well, I tell you what, I think, I think y'all are going down a different path. You're not sitting back quiet. You're taking matters into your own hand and making sure this word get out there. And hopefully, somebody else will see something. And for all practical purposes, when a person don't feel comfortable reaching out to Winfield Police Department, the high the hierarchy say, don't call Winfield Police Department. Call the sheriff department. Call the Louisiana State Trooper. Call the FBI. You know what I mean? But you can call somebody, and somebody might be able to help you. If you don't trust Winfield Police Department, there's the Win
If
Parish.
you don't, I got this to say, not to cut you short, because
No.
I want to give a shout out to you because you was the first one I seen that had, you know what I'm saying, his news covered.
Mm.
And you ain't got to tell nobody. You could call, you know what I'm saying, leave a tip or do it yourself. I mean, I just been asking God to touch whoever heart know that He worried them and they confess because I know, he's definitely gonna, man, he gonna avenge his child, bro.
Right. Right.
So I ain't even been worried about no laws. I ain't been worried about the community. I just been praying and trying to hold my family together. Cause bro, this is devastating. Then right for Christmas,
Yes.
I'm talking about I'm sitting over here shaking now trying to do this interview. It's hurting, bro.
I can only imagine, my brother. I can
And
only
to add injury to insult, he had just buried his mother 4 months previous to this. He had
Oh
just
my,
lost his mother. He had
oh my.
paid and planned for a birthday celebration that's following Saturday, but after before he had lost his life. He lost his life on a Tuesday. Well, technically a Monday. And
No,
he
no, no. It was 2Reddie Tuesday.
okay. So we
Cause
can say
they said it was like say 12. You know, some 12 up until the police came. We knew it was Tuesday. And the thing was, not to cut you off, Chris, but man, he had so much pressure on him, you know what I'm saying, to just try to make it through Christmas to get to his mama's birthday. This was the first time, she ain't been there for no nothing. So, it was just hard the whole time. And I called, bro, you good? No, I'm having one of them days, bro. I said, hey, bro, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? That was my person for accountability too, because I know most men ain't gonna have nobody they can talk and lay their burdens on. But
Mhm.
shout out to Chris. We got to pray for the homies that we do every day. Man, I'm just appreciative to have brothers like this in your life, because when you're in prison and you do all that time, strangers become your family. So, you adjust to the snakes, you adjust to the good hearted people, you gonna know a person by their heart. When I talk to you, I'm gonna look you in your eyes and grab your hand as a man and look to your soul.
Mhm.
I didn't mess with snakes. I'm like I said, I have a family. I'll be in the house. If it weren't for Reddy, I would never be out. But I was his cameraman, I was his security, I was his spiritual advisor. He know one thing. He say, "Big bro, I need you. I'm on the way."
Yes.
All the pictures he got, I took them for him because he was always, everywhere he went, too ready. Everybody loved him. Let me get $1. He'll get all the kids stuff. Everywhere he go, he paying for everybody way. And don't nobody know nothing with somebody that showed everybody love, bro.
Mm.
And the way it was done, it was just so disrespectful, bro. You don't do that to a man that would get a shirt off his back, and you just leave him out there for kids to find them right for Christmas, bro, in the projects.
Right. Well, let me ask you this, Chris. Why was it important to hold this walk on Martin Luther King Jr. Day? How does Roger's story tie into Dr. King's
I
legacy?
mean, it just goes to show that we still live in a time where Dr. King pushed for justice, he pushed for equality, and we don't get the same type of treatment on our sides of the tracks in the town that we live in. I
Mm.
feel like if he might have been of a different skin tone, things might have been handled a little bit faster. So
Mm.
by this, you go off the momentum of the people, and by this iconic day coming up and us getting ready to have Martin Luther King Day, why not march?
Right, right now.
Why not march for justice? Why not march peacefully for justice?
Right.
And I
Because
want
Dr.
to add in what Chris saying. A lot of people don't use it as a holiday, but as it being MLK, a lot of people do. And why not use it then? That's what MLK stood for:
Yeah.
unity, peace, and rights.
Right.
Yep.
And I mean, this marching for our rights, we not trying to get on nobody's nerve, do nothing disrespectful, get arrested or nothing. We just want our voices to be heard and want to update on what's really going on, bro.
You invited other families of victims there in Winfield to join. What's your message to the families grieving unsolved and unjust losses in the community? You know, I know it's bad here in Alexandria and throughout some other municipalities, but talking to you guys, I've learned that y'all experiencing some of the same problems that we're experiencing right here in Alexandria.
Yes, sir. We do have some unsolved murders down there in Winfield, and so we invite those families to come out and stand hand in hand with us in solidarity as we begin the march, as we begin to open up this window, this door to start getting justice, and maybe we can get some of those cases revisited. Maybe having platforms like you, being able to give us a place to tell our stories, and they can see that it's okay to speak up and speak out against the things without fear because we have people that are willing to help us and support and have eyes on the situation outside of little old bitty Winfield, Louisiana. And I love I love it. I tell everybody I love Winfield. I rip it to the fullest all down here. I basically do. If when people tell me they from Louisiana, that out here in Texas, my first thing is, where you from? I'm from Winfield, Louisiana. I was born and raised. I graduated high school there. I love Winfield. Like Reddy said, he loved his Winfield. I love my Winfield. But
Right.
sometimes Winfield just don't love you back the way that you thought it would.
Right. Right.
And that's the same thing with me. I almost got a life sentence down here for trying to love my Winfield. You know,
Mhm.
when you come from a family that's known for giving, known for feeding people that's homeless, and my family on both sides always took care of the community. So that was the thing inbred. All of us in this generation was to take care of your family and your loved ones. Don't do nothing disrespectful to the old people, and certain things was off limit, even in organization of being a street person. Certain people was off limits,
Mhm.
and there's no structure. So I don't know why they want to holler. They don't want to say nothing or they don't want to do nothing. But if shit happened to one of y'all want to raise the roof, but don't nobody want to help do nothing.
Right.
So they still living in the solitary of institutionalizing their own mind because they thinking they don't have a voice.
Right. Right.
And that stuff you see in prison where they don't think outside the box.
Right.
I done been through that. I done been to jail for drugs. I came out a reformed man. I've owned businesses. I'm successful.
Mhm.
And I reached back. I'm a life coach for all 50 states. I can go speak for the Fiends office, the CASA. I talk to trouble teams. Everything. My life is informed. And everything in Winfield, I changed my whole persona when I came home. All about God and the glory because I got a second chance.
Right.
They stole some from me that I could never get back, which was my partner from my past and bringing him into Christ.
Mhm.
He
Hmm.
accepted Christ, but they let the life be lived shortly because
Right.
they snipped it.
Right. For those who attended the protest on tomorrow, what vibe you want to set? What does peaceful protest mean for the Columbus family?
We ask that everybody please, we'll be meeting up at 12 o'clock p.m. to go over once again the rules, but we want everybody to be peaceful. Obey all anything that comes from law enforcement. We want everybody to stay out on the side of the street. We don't want to impede traffic. We don't want to stop anyone from being able to get where they want to. We don't want to block driveways. We don't want to do anything like that. We only want everyone to walk. To walk. We don't want any side by sides, four wheelers, or anything like that because we know it's other things going on in the community as well, and people may want to fall out, but that's not the time for this. This is a march, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna march. We ask that you bring signs if you have them. If you don't have signs, just bring
We
your
we
voice.
providing some.
Yes,
We providing between the ones that's helping that's been there the whole time. I ain't gonna say nobody specific because everybody is doing their part. And I want to give a shout out to everybody that's coming together and not even saying things, but they doing things in action. The
Right.
yes,
community is really pulling together to solve this because everybody is saying, why did it happen to him? We not God, but it shouldn't have never been him, bro. Never.
so the
To,
vibe that we would really like is just the vibe that 2Reddie would have, a vibe of peace and happiness and of love, and
Well,
and to give him the same love that he had for Winfield, to
be
show
his
it back.
voice. Be his
Yes.
voice.
The other thing I see in what you guys are doing is you're not giving the powers that be an opportunity to pivot away from what your demands are. Your demands are to know information. Your demands are to get justice for Roger, and you don't want no sidetrack because it's easy for them to try to shut you up because they arrest you for something, or they weren't nothing but a bunch of violent people. So you're not giving them that excuse. In other words,
No, sir. We're not giving them that excuse at
Hey,
all.
I'm
I hear
gonna
you.
I'm gonna put you on game with me.
Uh,
I'm on 30 years parole
uh,
for a drug charge. Real talk. But when it's this deep in heart, I would put it all on the line for my brother because I knew what he stood for and I know what God want me to do. I could get in trouble just by being on here,
mhm.
putting myself in a predicament. But for God I live and for God I die. If something happened to me today or tomorrow, I know I got two people in heaven. So my blessings are stored up on me.
Hmm. I hear you.
So that's the realness to me. You know, I done I done beat up laws before, so you know they're not gonna tell me nothing. But I'm just being real.
Hmm.
You know, it's just man, we need help, bro.
Y'all need
Any
help.
kind of way they can do it individually, speak out, go to somebody, tell somebody. I mean, they pillow talk anyway.
Right. Right.
This we just need some answers, bro. That's all, bro. Some answers.
Yes. Let me ask you this another one, Chris, and anybody can chime in. For those in Winfield who are afraid to speak up, what do you say to give them courage to show up to
What I would tell them is, man, this could be you. At any given time, we never know. This could be your family. And you would want somebody to do the same thing for you. Don't look at it as, oh, they're coming out for him, but they didn't come out for them. This is the first time we've been able to get something organized. So I'm willing to come back and help anybody. And with that being said, we need to come together as a community because that's the Winfield that I remember. It's us
Yeah,
being community. That's the Winfield that I remember seeing as a kid growing up. The park field on Sundays and everybody
yeah.
Winfield a place to be. Us having one of the best places to hang out on Saturday nights and stuff
Water
is
fights on
legendary.
Sundays.
Yes, what different things like that. So that's what I'm saying. It's time for us to come together. It's not a time to be afraid. It's not a time to be scared because we're not doing anything that'll put you in harm's way.
that?
It's
Right.
2026. It's time to step up and hold these people accountable so that we can get the transparency and that they can see that we will come together and stand together united.
Right. Right. All right. Before we get out of here, y'all have anything else y'all need to say? Alicia, you've been quiet over there. You got anything to say?
Just want justice.
Just want justice.
That's it. We just want justice and we want answers and we want transparency. And we ask that everyone come out tomorrow at 12 p.m. We'll be meeting at 101 Martin Luther King Drive in front of the car wash right there, Winnie Mart parking lot. And we will start there together. This will be peaceful. So if you don't have peace on your mind, don't come. That's just
Yeah.
me being honest. This is not
But
about shaking up the scene and not trying to start anything. We just want to have peace and we want to get answers and we want it done the right way. That way they have no excuse on why they can't give us the answers that we deserve.
and the thing is, I'm gonna commend him, like he said, bro. It's not about me. It's not about Chris. It's about justice for Reddit. If you can't have yourself in check or emotions to do what's at hand, please don't come with the confusion, bro. And we not trying to get nobody there and get them in trouble. We just asking for the support and love that he's shown. And we want everybody voice to know that, hey, we gonna come together as a community and we gonna stand. We want justice.
Right. Right.
It
Right.
ain't about, no one or two. We want the whole community out.
Well, I tell you what, man. I think the community is listening. We've been constantly quite a few people watching us simultaneously, and so y'all keep up the good work over there. Um, if there's nothing else to be said, let me take a look over here at these comments. There's quite a few of them.
Also, if you follow us, Jack, you
Uh-huh.
can always get on there for 2Reddie Tuesday and Wormy Wednesday because we're going to keep that alive.
Okay.
That was what he did every Tuesday, and it was inspiration to whoever, even when he was going through his own trials and tribulations, he always tried to be positive and motivated. So I'm going to keep that going.
Yeah, and here you got people with that thought about law enforcement spilling. If law enforcement have enough information to arrest someone, then act on it. If they don't, then holding on to that information without action creates confusion and mistrust. Justice shouldn't look like shouldn't live in limbo. It should be clear, fair, and follow the law.
That says it in a nutshell.
That is. Well, I tell you what, y'all make sure folk are putting information in. I think from what I'm seeing, guys, with the engagement levels that's here on this particular post, I don't know if the community is scared or not. I think that the community is 100% engaged in this process, and I think you guys letting them know where you guys are is helping them. It's helping lock them in. I think tomorrow y'all gonna be very surprised because I think y'all got competing things that are actually going on up there in Winnfield tomorrow during the same time. So I hope to see that the community, because I know all throughout the country, Martin Luther King days, a lot of people are looking at it as a day of service, and the day of service that you guys are looking for this not to happen again. So one of the biggest things that could come out of this is everybody that was over at the MLK program show up at the mini mart and support what you guys have going on. I wouldn't be surprised if that would be what actually happened. And then, uh, we're doing what we're supposed to do, their service.
And Mr. Jack, I will say this: after the march, after we get done at the police station and we march back, the community normally ends the parade right there on Martin Luther King.
Uh-huh.
After that, I will address the community.
Uh-huh.
They've asked me to address the community, so immediately following the march, even those that don't feel like that they're still in a certain lane that they can't come up to the police station and march with us, to
Uh-huh.
just hang out around because we're still gonna sit down there and we're gonna talk to the community and address the community and the need. And I'm asking all families who have been affected by this to come out and stand in support because we want to remember those names of those people's lost so we can start opening up this chapter and opening up this book and start getting these answers, these rights wrong,
Right.
these wrongs righted. Should I say?
Yeah, I understood what you meant.
Yes, sir. It's just
Yeah,
it's just a lot. The wheels are turning right now.
right.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything to say? Because before we get out of here.
Man, we just want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to be
Yes.
live streaming and let our voices be heard. It's justice for Roger, man. And that's all we know. That's what we're going to continue to know. And that's what we want the people to know. I mean, if we have to do it individually, we're going to still do it. I got pictures enough to do one a year. So he would not be forgotten. You know what I'm saying? Bro, he was just one of those angels that we shouldn't be doing this, bro. We should be going live about something he did for gospel rap. Real talk.
Real
Yeah.
talk.
And here it is. We was planning on getting LLCs and doing it up. Chris got to Saved by the Trap in Houston. Man, we was trying to make men, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All that
Well,
was cut short, bro.
yeah. But I tell you, and what you guys are doing right now, you guys are the folk that are reaching and talking to everybody else, and they're listening to you. And so, you know, out of that, it might turn into a lot of people becoming really civic engaged, saying enough is enough, and that could be, who wants somebody to die over something? But I am really glad that folk are speaking up right now.
Man, thank everybody.
At least listening to this, there, because they do owe the people an explanation. They owe them timely updates. They just do.
Thank you, Mr. Jack, for giving us a platform in such a short notice, and we really appreciate this. This wasn't something that was planned weeks ago, months ago. This was something that was just like, hey, bro, do you think the people will show up if we do it? Because I'm willing to drive down if they willing to do it.
Right.
This I prayed on it, I thought about it, and I can't just do it in another city if I'm not doing it for my own hometown.
Yeah, I hear you. I think it's kind of it's odd all the way across the board. Like the initial conversations that came into us to share the information, it was coming, and I said, well, let me just, and I just started saying, hey, reach out to the family or somebody who knows something, and we can get the balls rolling if the family is on board.
It go deep. Before we get off, it go as deep as I had did an interview for Channel 5, and before it could hit the 6 o'clock news, it was taken off. They said I wasn't, or his brother, I shouldn't have been a spokesman, and Alisha and Christine asked me to speak. I didn't overstep no boundary or nothing. I was really grieving with my sisters because they couldn't talk, so I was their voice. So it's just like, everything we try to do, we're not getting no answer for it, no kind of way.
I'm gonna leave that on that note right there. We want to thank our guest, Miss Alisha, Devarious, for y'all strength and the vulnerability that it put you in. I saw the emotions, and I'm glad you guys were able to push on through it. Tomorrow is the day we put our feet to the pavement.
Boots on the ground.
On the ground. 12 o'clock at the Winni Mart parking lot.
Yes, sir.
101 MLK Drive. And y'all looking for a peaceful day justice. Before we sign off tonight, we have to recognize the people who make this platform possible and who support this community. A massive thank you to our followers. Without y'all, we couldn't do what we do over here. So thank y'all. You guys are thanking us, but we couldn't do what we do if it wasn't for our supporters out there helping us along the way. A massive thank you to Sadler's Towing, Long's Products, Legendary Kung Fu and Tai Chi, United Wrestling and Entertainment, Nader International Market, and the Threadhead Embroidery. We want to say thank you guys for standing with us and for standing with the Thomas family. I want to leave you with this small acts. With this small acts, when multiplied by hundreds or millions of people, can transform the world. Don't ever think your presence don't matter. Tomorrow, your presence is everything. Get involved, stay involved, and let's bring justice home to Winnfield. Good night, everybody, and thank you for tuning in and chiming in this evening. If you guys can go ahead and hang tight, I'm going to end this live.
Hey, did you know Long's Products is a family-owned janitorial supply with mops, brooms, trash bags, and they even have food service disposables, carry-out plates, and to-goes? Check us out.